No one cares about your product. All right, that was harsh, but let me rephrase that. Nobody remembers your product. We see between 4,000 and 10,000 ads every single day. From the moment you scroll Instagram in bed, to the billboards on your commute, to the banners on the website you visit, 10,000 businesses demand your attention. Our brains are biologically wired to ignore this. It is a survival mechanism. If we actually paid attention to every piece of data thrown at us, we would go insane. So we filter out the noise, we ignore the specs, the features, the revolutionary technology, and the best-in-class service. But you remember the last time a movie made you cry. You remember the story your grandfather told you about his first car. You remember that one commercial that made you want to get off the couch and run a marathon, even though they didn't mention the shoe's rubber density a single time. That's the cliche, right? Facts tell, stories sell. We hear it all the time in marketing, but nobody actually tells you how to do it. How do people take a boring piece of software or a candle or a consulting service and turn it into a story that people actually give a damn about? That is exactly what we are breaking down today, and I'm going to give you the exact framework used by the world's biggest brands, from Nike to Apple to the coffee shop down the street, to turn casual customers into superfans. By the end of this video, you won't be selling a product, you'll be selling a transformation. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about building brands that actually matter in a noisy world. First, let's clear up a massive misconception. When I say brand storytelling, most people think I mean the history of the company. You know the page on every corporate website, the About Us page that says, founded in 1998 by two guys in a garage who had a passion for excellence? I need you to hear me on this. That is not brand storytelling. That is a timeline. And frankly, unless your grandmother is reading it, nobody cares. Brand storytelling isn't about your past. It's about your customer's future. It is the art of using a narrative to connect your product to your customer's identity. Think of it this way. A commodity is, I sell coffee. It's hot and black and costs $3. A brand story is, we provide the fuel you need to crush your morning and build your empire. See the difference? One is about the beans and one is about the result. Neurologically, this is magic. When I list facts and bullet points, only the language processing parts of your brain light up. It is just data decoding. But when I tell you a story, the sensory cortex lights up, the motor cortex lights up. Your brain literally experiences the story as if it's happening to you. That is the power we are trying to harness. We want to move from transactional to emotional. So how do we build this? It starts with the golden rule. If you take only one thing away from this video, make it this. This is the mistake 90% of brands make. You are not the hero of the story. I'll say it again. You are not the hero of the story. In the world of storytelling, there is a hero and there is a guide. Luke Skywalker is the hero. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the guide. Frodo is the hero. Gandalf is the guide. Katniss Everdeen is the hero. Haymitch is the guide. Here's the disconnect. Most brands position themselves as the hero. They say, look at our awards, look at our history, look how shiny our building is. They are trying to be Luke Skywalker. But your customer is already the main character in their own life. They are Luke Skywalker. They have a problem. They are overwhelmed. They need to defeat the Empire. They aren't looking for another hero. They are looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi. They are looking for a guide. Now here's the secret. You are the guide. You have the lightsaber, which is your product. You have the wisdom, which is your service, to help them win. If you compete with them for the spotlight, it will tune you out. Your job is to position your brand as the empathetic authority that helps them win the day. To pull this off, you need two specific characteristics: empathy and authority. Empathy says, I understand how frustrating this problem is. I've been there. This builds trust. Authority says, I have the competence to fix it. Here's my track record. That builds respect. If you have empathy but no authority, you're just a nice friend who can't help. If you have authority but no empathy, you're a tyrant or a know-it-all. You need to be the compassionate expert. Okay, let's get practical. How do you write this? We're going to use a simplified 3-act structure. You can use this for a 30-second TikTok, a landing page, or a 10-minute sales video. Act 1 is the problem. Every story needs a villain. Without a villain, the story falls flat. In marketing, the villain isn't a person, it's a frustration. Now, here's the secret sauce that will double your retention. You need to distinguish between the external problem and the internal problem. The external problem is the physical issue. My sink is leaking, my tax software is confusing, I need a ride to the airport. But people don't buy solutions to external problems. They buy solutions to internal problems. The internal problem is how that external issue makes them feel. The leaking sink makes them feel helpless or stressed out about water damage. The confusing tax software makes them feel stupid or scared of the IRS. If you only talk about the leak, you're a plumber. If you talk about the peace of mind of a dry home, you're a brand. You need to articulate their pain better than they can. When you describe their internal frustration perfectly, they automatically trust you have the solution. Act 2 is the solution. This is your plan. This is where you step in as the guide. You give them a plan. Customers are scared to buy. They are scared of losing money or looking foolish. You need to give them simple stepping stones to cross the river of fear. We call this the process plan. It usually looks like 3 steps. Schedule a call. We build a custom strategy. You watch your business grow. It sounds obvious, but the human brain craves clarity. By giving them a 1, 2, 3 plan, you remove the confusion. You bridge the gap between where they are, miserable, and where they want to be. Act 3 is the transformation. This is the most important part. You have to show them what life looks like after they use your product. This is the happy ending. In screenwriting, this is the climax where the Death Star explodes. In marketing, it's the visual of success. Spend your weekends with your family, not your spreadsheets. Walk into that meeting with total confidence. You also need to hint at the tragedy. What happens if they don't buy? This is the stakes. Don't let another tax season ruin your spring. Stop losing money to insufficient ads. Let's look at a masterclass example of this entire framework in action. Apple. Think about the Think Different campaign, or even just how they market the iPhone today. Who is the villain? The villain is complexity. It's the status quo. It's the clunky, gray, boring, PC world that kills your creativity. What is the internal problem? It's the fear of being boring. The fear of not being able to express your artistic vision. Who is the hero? You, the creator, the dreamer, the rebel. What is Apple's role? They are the guide. They provide the tool, the simple, beautiful tool that unleashes your genius. Apple never says we have the best processors. Okay, sometimes they do. But their core story is you have creativity inside of you. We just get out of the way so you can release it. That is why people line up for days to buy a phone. They aren't buying a phone, they're buying a creative identity. Let's look at one more completely different example. YETI coolers. On paper, they sell a plastic box that keeps ice cold. It costs $300. That is insane. You can buy a cooler at a gas station for $20. So why does YETI win? They win because YETI doesn't tell stories about plastic. They tell stories about resilience. They feature cowboys, fishermen, and outdoor guides. The villain in a YETI story is the cheap cooler that breaks and ruins your camping trip. It's nature itself trying to spoil your food. The hero is the outdoorsman who wants to survive the wild. The transformation, when you buy a YETI, you become the kind of person who is prepared for anything. When you buy a YETI, you aren't buying a box. You're buying the identity of a survivor. That is storytelling. So before you write your script or change your website, avoid these 2 traps. Trap number 1 is the we trap. Go look at your website right now. Count how many times you say we, us, or our. Then count how many times you say you or your. If we wins, you are failing at storytelling. You're talking about yourself. Flip the script. Make the customer the subject of the sentence. Trap number 2 is the curse of knowledge. You know your product, 10 out of 10. Your customer knows it 1 out of 10. When you explain things at level 10, you confuse them. If you confuse, you lose. You have to dumb it down, not because your customer is stupid, but because they are busy. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Storytelling isn't a soft skill. It isn't just for artsy brands. It is a business survival skill. People don't buy the best products. They buy the ones they understand the fastest and feel the deepest. So I have a challenge for you. I want you to do this exercise today, preferably right now. Take a piece of paper, draw 3 columns. Column 1 is the villain. What is the external problem your customer faces? And more importantly, how does it make them feel internally? Column 2 is the guide. How can you express empathy, the I get it, and authority, I can fix it? Column 3 is the transformation. Who do they become after they use your product? If you do these things, and you listen to what I'm saying, and you take this advice and use it in your copy, your business, your social media posts, everything you do that the customer sees, I promise you, it will completely change your business.